Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with Tactical Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having an amazing day. I wanted to quickly talk about, in my opinion, what an ideal setup looks like for me. We've been getting a lot of questions about being more selective, being more patient, but what does a quality trade setup look like? And first, before I go ahead and get started, I want you guys to know that this is 100% based off of my opinion and how I see value on a pattern. Everyone sees value in different ways, and I think that we can all agree on that. I'm a big believer in hearing people out, having a better understanding on how other people see value, and you can agree to disagree down in the comment section. But at the end of the day, we're always here to share our opinions, and not just an opinion, but our thought process behind that. So I really hope that throughout this video, you have a better understanding of how I see a ideal setup look like. So next time maybe you see one formulate, you can then have a better understanding whether to take a position or to not take a position. So I really hope that I earned your thumbs up with today's video. So I'm going to start sharing my screen just so you guys can see exactly what it is that I have going on here. This is the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform. It is the platform that I use. It is not the one that you have to use. There are so many amazing brokerages out there. Please explore all options to see which one's the best fit for you. But what I wanted to talk about today is Wednesday, and it was the crude oil report. 1 hour after the market opens, if you've watched yesterday's video, a report comes out, and this one was not in favor of crude oil, but there was a very quick recovery, and then all of a sudden, right around this like 8 to 8:10 area, we began to see crude oil become super overbought. So I want to explain this and break this down in 4 steps. So how do you see an opportunity present itself, or how do you identify an opportunity? One of the first things that you need to do is that within itself, it's identify an opportunity of either something to push up, or I trade a lot of ETFs and inverse ETFs. So one of the things that I saw is crude oil became super overbought. This is where it was previously at. This is on the 1 day, 1 minute chart, but I'm going to change this, and I'm going to change this to the 1 day, 5 minute chart because it's a little bit more clear to see. And one of the things that I want to point out is I was continuously reminding both TechBud Solutions and Learn Plan Profit members on why it's so important to stay patient. And you guys can go to the Discord chat if you're part of Learn Plan Profit. I post updates. I don't like to tell people where to buy or where to sell. That's never the idea behind learning how to trade. It's you want to understand what you're doing. And one of the things that I continuously reminding people is that this idea that /CL just received a big push, right? Looking overbought, but could still push. Is this the peak? Waiting for lower lows. Nice bounce on /CL. So this means that /CL is still showing signs of an uptrend. /CL is still making higher highs above the EMA line. Very bullish. Reminding people, because if you look at the 1 day, 1 minute chart, it's a little bit hard to see on the 5 day, 5 minute chart, but /CL continued to push up. It continued to rally, and people think that, it pushed up, it pulled back, it's bound to sell off. No, it's still above the EMA line, and it's still showing signs of an uptrend. What is the next step? So we identified an opportunity, and why is crude oil pushing up and becoming so overbought an opportunity? Well, if you didn't partake in the push up of crude oil, what is most likely bound to happen? Not always, but most likely bound to happen. What happened about 3 hours ago? Crude oil became overbought, right? And you could see this better on the 5 minute chart. Crude oil became overbought. You can see that with the MACD, the RSI. Overall, it's oversold, overbought. Not a good deal. It begins to pull back, and then it breaks below the EMA line, and then it aggressively sells off. It makes sense on why this could happen again. Crude oil becomes overbought, so we identify an opportunity for crude oil to potentially sell off. And with that understanding, because crude oil is so overbought, what goes up when crude oil goes down? DWT, right? That's simple. And one of the things that we can begin to see, it's not about buying whatever stock it is that you are trading at the lowest price point. This is, I think, a big disconnect and a big mistake that a lot of newer traders make. You want to feel comfortable and confident with what you're trading. And if I'm not mistaken, a very common mistake that people make is getting in too early. So therefore, we identified a setup, and it's much easier to see on crude oil that, hey, crude oil is overbought, oversold. It's beginning to consolidate. It's no longer making higher highs. There's an opportunity here. That's simple, right? There's an opportunity of, this thing could either continue to push up, or if we get confirmation, there's no question crude oil has a lot of margin to give back. And the way that I was viewing this was I didn't expect it. No one knows like how much it's going to sell off. I did not expect it to push below previous lows. It ended up selling off to, where it was trading before the even market opened. And one of the things that I prepared myself for is what's a conservative, entry and what's a conservative exit. So what I began to do was I looked at DWT and I looked at previous highs and where it peaked out at, but I looked at more where it consolidated at. I also looked at, where are we going to get full confirmation of this thing actually making higher highs. So I didn't care of how much it could go up. I didn't care of how much it could go down. I was thinking that, hey, if we stay patient, if we wait for confirmation above the EMA line, and if we wait, for higher highs, people always ask, how do you know when to get in? So one of the third steps, right? So the first one was identify an opportunity. The second one is make sure that the margin of profit is worth it. So because I identified a potential entry and because of previous highs, I identified a potential exit, right? Not the highest point, but something a little bit lower that I felt was more realistic. Then I can calculate what's this margin of profit. This margin is about 2.5%. Obviously, there's no such thing as a perfect trade, and every trade performs differently. But there's an opportunity here. That's the easiest way for me to put it. It sold off enough. It's beginning to find a support. And then all we need to wait for now is the third step, confirmation. We want to feel comfortable and confident with where our money's at. And if the direction is in our favor and it's making and showing signs of higher highs, then just simply wait for it. And again, the MACD follows, the RSI follows, and it begins to break these resistance levels. It breaks previous high that it had here, and then it breaks above the middle VWAP, and then it continues to rally. And not only does it end up fulfilling the price point of 595, which is more than 2.5%, but it continues to rally there. It didn't actually, if you were looking at the 1-day 5-minute chart, it didn't actually break below the EMA line until it was above $6, and that's after it hit highs of $6.15. So think about this. If you would have just allowed confirmation to present itself, and you would have, again, it would have been perfect. I know that a lot of us do this, right? Thinking about like, wow, I could have made 6%. There's no such thing as a perfect trade. So what I like to think about is where would it have made sense to enter? I think that we can all agree that even with a conservative entry above the middle VWAP, right? Around 582, and right before it hits $6. We don't know if it's going to get rejected. It's getting close to this SMA line here. So that's about 2%. That's more than enough. 2%, like that's great, right? But it performed and it exceeded my expectations. And if you were part of the group and stuff like that, I tried my best in keeping you up to date on what was going up and what was going down. As involved as I was within the overall trade of letting people know that crude oil was pushing up, I was really late to the rally. Once it began to indicate signs of an uptrend, I just didn't take part of it. There's no excuse. I just psyched myself out, right? It was a really nice setup. Altogether, I ended up losing $203. So again, it's about 0.02%, right? None of my positions today exceeded $40,000. So if anything, it was a very small loss on the day, but it's still a loss. It kind of sucks because we saw a great opportunity present itself, especially on a crude oil day. And it made sense, right? Looking at crude oil, you can kind of see, why it became so overbought once we had confirmation of a sell-off, and then as it approaches previous supports to lock in profits on DWT, all this made sense. We had so many people within our group do so well, but it's because they understood what they were doing. Altogether, I began to feel uncomfortable, and there's just a couple different things that were going on, and I just psyched myself out to not enter that position. I ended up getting a little bit too late into the party, and then I quickly cut losses, and then overall it just continued to sell off. But I'm very happy that so many members within our group dedicated time, identified their own trade plan. They saw the opportunity, they identified their own trade plan with where they entered, where they exited, and we know a lot of you exited too early. There's no such thing as getting out too early. Profit is profit, and at the end of the day, if you can continuously grow your account and you understand the action behind it, then I think that's the beautiful part about trading. But I just wanted to give people a better understanding of when I visualize what an ideal setup looks like for me. It's something like this. And if you agree, I hope that I earn your thumbs up. It's when something becomes so overbought, for the future, and one of the correlating ETFs, it offers a huge opportunity, And once we get confirmation, we let it run. I think that the 1 day, 5 minute chart is an ideal time frame for this setup. And I could have done a better job, no question about it. But again, altogether, I just wanted to share what an ideal setup looks like to me, and congratulate all the people within our groups that perform so well today. So I really do appreciate your guys' time. Again, all the links to stay connected are provided for you down below. If you guys want to join our free Facebook group, we have over 228,000 members within our free Tech with Solutions Facebook group, and that's going to be that first link down below. On top of that, we do run Learn, Plan, Profit, so you can watch me trade live every single day. We had a really fun trading session today during the crude oil report. Tomorrow is the natural gas report. We'd love to have you join. If you guys have any questions, you can direct message me on either Instagram or direct message me on Discord. Do not send me a message on Facebook, please. There's so many fake accounts that I just don't even want to run into that. So message me on Instagram, message me on Discord. But if you're ready to join the Learn, Plan, Profit team and watch me trade live for the natural gas report as soon as tomorrow, click that second link down below, learn a little bit more about what we have to offer, and see if it's a good fit for you. So altogether, I hope that we earned your thumbs up. I hope that you guys end the overall week on a green note. Continue working hard, continue following dreams, let your passion be what drives your success. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take